Hey guys, what's going on? So in this video I wanted to discuss, I guess, the best way to use RPEs and percentages in your training, because I feel like you have two different camps with this type of topic, which is like one camp which just train with RPE only, like don't pay attention to the percentages, just go off of the RPEs. And I think that these people in the RPE camp make a great point in saying that RPE is a great tool for auto regulation. It makes sure that you're training with appropriate training intensities based off of your capabilities on that day. It accounts for the really good days, it accounts for the more average days, and it accounts for the really good days where you can adjust training load and volume up and down based off of basically how good you're feeling on that day. However, you will have the other camp that says who are more percentage-based training, who say your body is lying to you, like just go off of a percentage, because if this is your maximum capabilities, then you need to train hard enough to satisfy overload, so then you can actually get stronger. And I think that that has really great merits too. You need to be able to train hard enough to induce overloading adaptations to actually get bigger and get stronger. But I don't think that these two camps of RPE versus percentage-based training, I don't think that's asking the right questions, because both of these are just training tools, and something that I've learned as I've bring on more often and I've been able to observe trends with my lifters and what works very well for myself in periods of time when I've been able to train and make really consistent progress, is with kind of a good marriage of the two concepts. So what do I mean by that? I mean that RPE and percentage-based training should be used synchronously, but they should be used appropriately. So this is where I'm going to introduce the whole concept of a training 1 rep max. And what this is going to be is this is going to be a slightly lower 1 rep maximum that you will use for a percentage of, because there's an RPE percentage charts that have different percentages of your 1 rep max that will correspond with a certain RPE target around where that weight should be for a certain number of reps. And I think that if you can use the training 1 rep max along with that, you're going to be able to have much better outcomes. So what is a training 1 rep max? So you're going to have two 1 rep maxes. You're going to have your all-time best, and you're going to have like a maximum or a weight that you can basically hit on any day. Now, if you have a program and if you're going off of percentages, and if you're using your all-time training max, like your all-time best, not your training max, you're going to be using a max that is not going to be as it's going to basically be your top end abilities. So in a state where your fitness was probably very high, which is going to be your ability to produce maximal forces, lift heavy weights, it's going to be very high, and then your fatigue is going to be low enough to where you can maximally express those fitness characteristics of a 1 rep max. Now the problem is that doesn't account for like most of the training days, because we all know that our best training max isn't like going always, no, our best all-time maximum is not what we can hit on every single day. Like that's the reason why it's our all-time best. And we're going to more or less have a certain weight that we know that we can come into the gym on more or less any day and be able to hit it. And I would recommend using that weight to have your percentage based programming with you if you are using an RPE chart, which I believe that you should use both of them together. And I think that the RPE chart is testament to the fact that they should and they can be used in synchrony, to give you a roundabout of where you should be lifting for that day in training, and then auto-regulate accordingly. So for example, what I like to use for training maxes is on squat and a deadlift. I recommend 95% of your all-time best maximum as your training max. This will basically give you a very good idea of, and a more accurate representation of what to expect going on into training. And then for bench press, 97%. Just because I've observed that bench press is less impacted by fatigue dynamics for most people. There are exceptions to the rule, but this is what I've observed on average. And if you can use both of these, you're going to be able to have much better training expectations, because if you're using a all-time best 1 rep max and you are looking at the RPE chart and you say this is what I should be able to hit on this day, but you're not able to hit it, you're going to automatically be kind of demotivated. You're going to be like, oh man, I'm underperforming, like I'm not in like my peak condition. But the reality is that training over time, when you are training most of the time, there is going to be some fatigue. It is necessary to get better and to have overload. That is the cost of overload. And this is going to help manage fatigue and keep driving progress forward, because you're still going to be pushing your body to its, to enough of an overload to actually induce adaptations. And like what I said in my progressive overload video, you can't force progressive overload, it's an adaptation. And overload is likewise a spectrum, it's a range, and it takes time, and you need to have appropriate stimulus to induce the overload. Now, where does RPE and percentage-based training come in and help out with this training max and being able to adjust up and down? So first off, I said it's probably going to be more indicative, probably going to be more roundabout where you're going to be for any given training day on most days. So that's number one consideration, number one pro of this method. Now, if you have a really, really bad day, let's say you got in a fight with your girlfriend, you didn't sleep at all, like you underate, you're in a super stressed out state going on into the gym, performance is really, really down, you can adjust down from that training max. Now, likewise, if it's a really great day where your fitness is high, your fatigue is low, weight is moving well, you can move up in weight. And that's why people, that's another good part of RPE, is that it allows you to auto-regulate loads. But if you're going to be using a percentage-based program, I really recommend using a training maximum, which is going to be around 95% of your 1 rep max for squat and deadlift, and then for bench around 97% of your 1 rep max. And then you can use that as in conjunction with the RPE, and then percent of a 1 rep max table for the loads going on into the training session. You can see how that load feels, reflect on it. You can reflect to my last video on how I like to use RPE in my 2-part system to say, is this about right? Should I adjust up or should I adjust down? And be honest with yourself. Like, understand that this is really a you versus you game, and you no favors just like chasing what somebody else does or like what you think that you should be able to do, because you're going to needlessly fatigue yourself and not develop that training momentum. Because developing momentum in training of good training sessions, predictable performances is important. And if you can start off from a spot where you're able to have reasonable expectations in going onto your training session, adjust up and down accordingly to how you feel, you're going to be in a much better spot to stay healthier, make better progress, and be a better lifter overall and gain more muscle mass and strength. So hopefully this video was helpful, because this has been something I've really been reflecting with my lifters and with my own training. And it's just something that I've come to realize is a really, really great way to use both tools of RPE and percentage-based training to improve our training outcomes. So hopefully you guys liked this video. If you guys liked it, please like, comment, share, subscribe. If you guys are interested in coaching and programs, go to adampeelerfitness.com. Follow me on Instagram and Adam D. Peeler. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Later.